Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted about a year ago and is titled, "Family That Left Me on the Streets at 16 Wants to Apologize 30 Years Later." As a mild lurker on Reddit, I thought I would share my story and the newest development in my life after 30 years. It might be a bit long, but I will do my best to provide context without too much fluff. I hope this is the right subreddit. I lost my mom when I was 12 to breast cancer. That left just me and my dad. It was a tough time, but we got through it together. When I was 14, my dad met and married my stepmom Ashley, who brought with her my stepbrother Mark and stepsister Emily. I got along with Ashley and Emily really well, but not so much with Mark. He and I were always getting into arguments and fights. I was always told by my dad to give Mark a break because he had been the man of his house for a while, so this was all new for him. It seemed like it wasn't new for me though. Anyway, when I was 15, I met a girl at school named Lisa and we started dating, as much as one can date at 15. However, Mark apparently had a crush on her and was mad that I asked her out. He started a fight over it in which my dad had to intervene once again. And somehow I was made to be the bad guy. One day after my 16th birthday, my stepmom was putting away my laundry and started yelling. This was awkward because my girlfriend Lisa was there. We all ran, thinking the worst. When we got to my room, my stepmom was holding several pairs of my sister's underwear and yelling at me about why they were in my drawer. I had no answer, as I had never seen them before. Of course, no one believed me, no matter how much I protested. Then Mark piped up, saying he had always caught me staring at his sister and thought it was creepy. He also claimed he once heard me say I wished I could marry her. Obviously, he was lying, but that was all it took. Lisa slapped me and called me a pervert, telling me we were done and walking out. My dad grabbed me by the arm and threw me out of the house, yelling that he wasn't going to put his daughter at risk from a pervert. I banged on the door to be let in, crying and telling them it was all lies told by Mark. My dad, apparently having had enough, opened the door, shoved me to the ground, and told me to get lost. I told him I had nowhere to go, and he said that wasn't his problem, then closed the door. I found myself on the streets with nothing to my name, no place to go. I tried calling my dad's parents, but he had already called them and they told me they wouldn't help a pervert. My mom's parents had passed away before I was born. Well, I lived on the streets for 2 years, doing what I had to do to survive. No kid should have had to do what I had to do just to live, just saying. There were some really dark days. Shortly after I turned 18, I found a job working at a boxing gym, states away from where I began this horrible journey. I worked there for years and learned the sport, which helped me with my hate and anger. Then one day I met a new girl, AMA, at the cafe down the street from the gym. At this point I was 35 and I know there was a huge age gap, but we just clicked. I don't believe in fate or soulmates or any of that stuff, but if there is such a thing, we had it. I don't know how else to put it. We dated for 2 years and then got married. Her dad was an electrician and hired me afterward. I think he did this mostly to know I would be able to support his daughter and to know I was doing right by her, but also in case he needed to keep me in check. Well, 15 years later, we are still together with 4 beautiful daughters. I just passed my master's license as an electrician, thanks to my wife for pushing me to get my GED. She has been my rock, my cheerleader, and my overall support throughout all this, and I can't tell her enough how much she has changed my life and how much I love her. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. So just this past weekend, I received an email from my stepsister. I'm not sure how she got my email address, but I know it isn't hard via the internet. I haven't been hiding. Mind you, I'm now pushing 53, so it's been over 30 years since I've heard from any of them. It was a long email. I won't give you all of it, but the gist is that they now know what really happened. Mark, I guess, was busy drinking with his buddies on Friday, and somehow my name was mentioned. Mark apparently started bragging about how he set me up and took my girl all those years ago. They were all laughing, hoping I had died on the streets, saying a bunch of rude and vile things. I guess Mark forgot that Lisa was there and heard it all. So she called my stepsister to let her know, and Emily spent all weekend trying to find me. As I said, the email was long. In short, they want to apologize face to face and want to make up for lost time. However, I'm indifferent to the idea. Like I said, I have no ill feelings towards Emily. She was obviously young and had no real say in the matter. But with lots of therapy, I learned to let go of that hate and anger and to let go of them. With all the love I receive from my wife, kids, and in-laws, it's all I really need. I'm inclined to just delete the email and move on like nothing happened. My wife thinks I should at least respond, even if just to say something snarky like, "Thanks for finally believing me. It only took over 30 years. Did I mention my wife has a petty streak? She's awesome. I guess I'm not asking for advice, I just wanted to share my story." There's a boxing quote that I have up in my house that reminds me every day to see a man beaten not by a better man, but by himself is a tragedy. Prime IRO said, "It's up to you what you should do." Personally, I would either delete the email or respond by saying, "Thanks for letting me know," and that while you bear her no hard feelings, you have no interest in reconnecting with any of the rest of them. Hot Tone said, "This was depressing to read. I had an ex in a similar position, and he turned to hard drugs. Who does that to their kid? Mark is a real asshole, and the world won't miss him when he's gone." To this, OP said, "Sorry to hear about your ex. That was a path I was close to falling down. Boxing, like a lot of sports, kept me from leading a path of destruction. It's why that quote resonates with me so much." Not So Religious Now said, "Interesting. I'm with your wife on this because I'm petty like that too." Question for you. What happened to your dad and stepmom? Was there any mention of them in that email? Perhaps for final closure, you could simply respond by saying you appreciate them reaching out after 30 years, but you have a great life without any of the people who would throw out a 16-year-old child onto the streets. Then you could ask not to be bothered again, or say you're willing to meet if and when Mark, Lisa, your dad, and stepmom beg for your forgiveness on their knees to make up for the hell you endured. To this, OP said, "I might have to do an update or post with more information. As I said, the email was long, but to at least answer your question, my dad and stepmom are still together." Update. First, I want to thank everyone for their kind words and advice. I wasn't looking for advice, I just wanted a place to share my story. To those who gave me credit for overcoming everything, thank you. However, my wife thinks she deserves most of it, and in all honesty, she does. To those who think this is fake, well, it's Reddit, I get it. It is what it is. Most things have to be taken with a grain of salt. I shared my story and I can't make you believe me, but that's okay. If my story resonates and helps others know they can survive, then I'm happy with that, and that's all that matters. Okay, for the update, I'm going to post most of the original email as many of you have requested. I've kept out some deep personal information, but the majority of it is there. I might have to break it up due to the character limit. I'll also post a response with the help of my wife as well as others who made suggestions. This is helpful because I'm not that great at putting my feelings into words without coming off as foolish. She was able to make me sound less foolish. I'm taking the family to the lake for the weekend to recharge and leave all this behind me. Thanks again to everyone. Final update. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've stopped in and updated you all. First, I want to thank everyone who's still been reaching out and commenting on my post. So I just have a final update for you all. I know a lot of you were worried about my former family reaching out after I asked them to basically let me live my life in peace. But thankfully, all has been quiet. I think my response made it clear that they weren't family anymore, and they decided to accept it. Outside of that, everything has been good. Actually, more than good. We found out we are having a baby boy. Although this wasn't planned, we are super excited, as are the girls. Not gonna lie, I'm a bit nervous. I think my wife can tell. She just keeps telling me I'm a great dad and not to worry. And yeah, after this one, we are done and I'll be going in for the snip. In the words of Sergeant Murtaugh, I'm too old for this shit. Just wanted to leave you guys with a little dad advice. Work hard, but stay humble. Never forget how hard you work to get where you are today. Never forget that who you are is so much greater than what you do. This second post was made by a user named Complex Put and is titled, "Am I wrong for banning my in-laws from my home? Hi Reddit, this is my first post. Recently, my husband took ill after the new year. Having caught the flu, his fever put him in a state of psychosis, which resulted in him being sectioned under the Mental Health Act for 28 days. During this time, my in-laws have used his illness to their advantage by trying to paint me as controlling and nasty, and went as far as to blame me for his current predicament. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and they never accepted this. They have also gone to his friends to try and paint me as this horrible, controlling wife, who never lets him out with his friends, which is very untrue. He's out way more than me. We have 2 children together, 16 and 7. Not once have these people reached out to myself and the kids to see if we are all okay or or need anything. I put my 16-year-old in therapy and they only contacted her on that day to ask what she talked about. I explained to my daughter that her therapy appointment was private, and if she didn't want to talk about it, she didn't have to. This resulted in her being called cruel. When they visit my husband in hospital, they always antagonize him, causing setbacks and privileges to be taken away. They have been asked to leave numerous times by nursing staff and my husband. His friends now visit when his parents do to offer him support against them. They have overstepped by trying to take control of financial obligations we have. I expressed that their help was not required as we can do our own finances, but still it was put back to me that they weren't happy about this. All choices my husband makes have to be questioned by them. It's really awful to watch him have to justify himself to them. He has spent his whole life trying to please them. Last week, they informed my husband how they tolerate me, nothing else. In the last 4 weeks, we have seen them more than we have in the past 2 years. Currently, my husband is home for the weekend, and I have set boundaries with the in-laws and banned them from coming to our home as I feel they are damaging his progress. I have told him they want to give him some harsh home truths. They have even gone as far back as our wedding 24 years ago to complain about my family's drunken behavior. We can't remember much. These people have never fully supported us. I was never good enough for him as I'm not from a family of fortune. They barely interact with their grandchildren, just throw occasional gifts, never sleepovers or trips to the park. My children don't have a strong relationship with them. I have invited them to events and supported his mom through her divorce, which was 5 years ago. They have only started talking since my husband got ill. My mother-in-law hated my father-in-law as he took everything in their divorce. She chose not to fight. My husband and I have a wonderful relationship. He's my best friend, my soulmate. These past few weeks have been hell, but he's getting better every day. So Reddit, am I overreacting here by banning them from our home? I won't ever make him pick a side, but I have this strong feeling inside me to protect him from them. Careless Image said, keep them banned. Tell the hospital that they are not allowed visitation there. Get a lawyer if they continue trying to gain control over your husband and your finances. To this user, Not Your Mom said, definitely consult a lawyer. A cease and desist order, a restraining order, or a doctor's order disallowing them access. Something. Call a lawyer and protect your husband. Go overboard if you have to. Nothing will stop them from encroaching and interfering. They'll be back at it as soon as the orders time out. So get yourself some peace now. Also, take detailed notes of everything they do. Todo Basura said, it might be time to have an honest conversation with your husband about end-of-life procedures, especially since you're a stay-at-home mom and his parents have proven there'll be no help when it happens. As a matter of fact, everybody should have that written down. Newsflash, everybody dies. Prepare your partner because it can be hell, even without interfering in-laws. To this user, Psycho, Marion said, my dad was a cemetery manager, and I bluntly asked him what he wanted when he died. He said a particular crematorium and his ashes spread on his eldest brother's grave. This meant we could tell the funeral director what he wanted straight away. We added a couple of things for the family's benefit, as we were the ones mourning. This third post was made in the AITAH subreddit by a user named Kaiser and is titled, I told my roommate his kids can't come here anymore. He refused and I gave him a notice. A year ago, my husband and I decided to let an old friend of ours, let's name him Adam, move in because his living situation wouldn't allow his children to stay there. We have a daughter, so we empathized with his situation. Adam was given the entire basement, complete with his own full-sized fridge. The top floor was ours and the main floor was a shared common area. Adam was told that common areas were to be kept clean by all parties, and everyone was expected to clean their respective parts of the house themselves. We asked Adam why his kids weren't welcome at his previous residence. He explained that 2 of the 3 kids were not biologically his. He had been in an on and off relationship for 2 years with their mother and had a baby with her. However, the people he lived with disliked him playing daddy to the older children who weren't his. My husband and I found this very odd, but agreed to allow the children to stay 2 nights a week. The first few months went relatively well, despite having to remind him about cleaning and dealing with the smell coming from the basement. Things took a turn one morning when I woke up to find raw eggs and eggshells scattered all over the house. I screamed loudly and Adam came running. After investigating, he apologized and explained that he had overslept, and the oldest child admitted to raiding my fridge upon seeing the large 30-pack of eggs. From then on, the 2 older boys began sneaking upstairs early in the morning while Adam slept. They broke things, stole items, ate food, and even started venturing to the top floor where we lived. Each time, Adam would apologize and promise to do better at keeping them under control. My final straw came when I woke up to find my brand new Costco pack of ice cream sandwiches half eaten, melted, and smeared across multiple surfaces in the house. We initially installed a lock on the basement door so Adam could keep his kids downstairs while he slept. Then we had to remove the lock on the bathroom door because they began locking themselves inside and urinating on all surfaces of the bathroom. We added a baby gate to keep them out of the living room because they were stealing and breaking things. They tore down the gate twice before I screwed it into the wall permanently. Presently, our house is so locked down that his kids are only allowed in the basement. The smell from the basement has grown so strong, like sour milk and vomit, that people refuse to visit us anymore. Adam insists there is no smell. He has never used cleaning products other than baby wipes. The furniture downstairs is coated in a sticky film. There is paint missing from walls and there are holes in some areas. When we found out I was pregnant, we decided Adam needed to leave for obvious reasons. We planned to wait a little longer since we just wanted him gone before the baby was born and I am only 2 months along. But then Thursday happened. I was home alone and decided to take advantage of it by blasting music and cleaning for an hour. When I went to do laundry, I grabbed the detergent bottle only to discover it was covered in urine. Urine was everywhere. The laundry tub was clogged with it. It was on the floor, on the side of the washer, now all over my hands, everywhere. I cleaned it up, put my load in, and called my husband crying. My husband was furious and messaged our group chat explaining what had happened and stating that Adam's 2 oldest children could no longer come here. Adam apologized profusely for upsetting me, but insisted that they were his children and it wasn't fair to say they couldn't come here anymore, and that he would bring them anyway. Long story short, I snapped. I told him I had put a lock on the laundry room door and that he had 60 days to move out. Adam simply apologized again and accepted his notice. All our family and friends are happy we are kicking him out because of how bad the smell has become. However, some feel we were attacking his kids for being different and claim that locking them out of rooms was insensitive. So I need to know, am I the asshole? Edit. I did not expect this post to blow up like it did. Thank you for all your comments. To address those asking about calling CPS, they had an open case for over a year that was recently closed. Family Services unfortunately did not care about the state of the basement. Edit 2, as mentioned earlier, the kids are only here twice a week, so this occurred over a span of roughly 104 days in total across 1 year. Some weekends were fine, others involved loud yelling or screaming contests. Other weekends were absolute hell. This whole situation has been building up gradually. It's not as if these events happened one after another without pause. It's been almost 2 months since we've had any major issues until the laundry room incident occurred recently. Icy Neighborhood said, "Definitely not the asshole. Your roommate is an immature and negligent individual who should probably have Child Protective Services called on him." Racunia said, "NTA, you and your husband went above and beyond to help Adam, but he completely disrespected your home, your rules, and your family's well-being. This isn't about his kids being different. This is about completely unacceptable behavior that has made your home unlivable. Adam failed to supervise his kids, failed to enforce boundaries, and failed to keep the space clean. The fact that the smell is so bad that people refuse to visit is a huge red flag. Worse, he refused to acknowledge the problem and dismissed your very reasonable requests to keep his kids under control. The pee incident alone would have been enough to justify asking him to leave immediately. The fact that it was just the final straw in a long series of escalating issues makes it even clearer. He had plenty of chances, and he blew them. You're not punishing the kids. You're enforcing boundaries that Adam refused to. If people think you are too harsh, they can invite him and his kids to stay with them and see how long they last." Fickletoe said, "NTA, Adam needs to hire and pay for professional cleaners to come in and clean up when he moves out. The basement is filled with biohazards which you should not have to deal with, and apparently he does not know how to clean. He also needs to pay for any damaged furnishings. Anyone who says you are wrong should let him live with them for 6 months." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.